Hey guys, it's Athena. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am inspired by a reference photo of the 2014 Barbie. I think it's Happy Birthday, Birthday Wishes Barbie. And she kind of has her hair kind of styled with like curls and it's pinned back a little bit. So that's it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I don't typically do that with my hair, but I thought I'd give it a try for today. That was like my inspiration slash reference photo for this hair and makeup. So yeah, I haven't really been feeling that great. So I haven't done a video with just me, in the front of the camera for, I know it only seems like a week or so, but for me, in the back of my mind, I'm always like, I want to do a video, but I just don't always feel like. I just feel like sometimes my personality is better than other times, and to not just always just like, I guess forcing yourself isn't a good thing. But I like to be in a space where I feel like calm and creative and collected, and that's when I feel like my best videos are made, because I used to do videos where like I would just crank them out like every week, and for the most part that worked fine for me. But then there are times where I really didn't feel good, and like you could tell like it came across camera like really easy. And I feel like I see that in YouTubers where they get like burned out and stuff, and then you can kind of tell that they're a little bit like frustrated and that type of thing. So I just wanted to avoid that. So it is hard because it's like I like putting out a video every week and that makes me feel happy, but I only really want to be putting out like the best quality version of myself. So to prime my skin, I use the Olay All Day Moisturizing Lotion. So now I'm going to go in with my Infallible Pro Glow foundation. And I went back to a brush because my beauty blender I had to throw out. I had used it for a long time and it was worn out. So then I haven't been able to get a sponge since, so I've just gone back to using the makeup brush, which isn't it's not a bad thing at all. But yeah, I just feel like I'm in this deep hole and I'm like always fighting to get out of it. And it's weird, like some days you wake up and there's just like nothing you can do to make the battle like better. It just, some days it feels like no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. It doesn't discriminate. Even if you're doing things that make you happy, it finds its way to like snake into your mind and like really sort of take control over you. And it's really hard. But enough about that. I'm trying to think what's Athena news? What is there to talk about? I recently had a dating situation where I was dating someone for just a brief minute, and it ended up not working out. And I don't know. It's just really hard because I feel like you never, I don't know, get the full gist of like the picture until you like really get to know someone, and it takes a lot of time. And I just feel like my whole catch-22 is like, as much as I want to be dating, I'm like, if I'm struggling to like take care of myself and my responsibilities, then is that a good thing to bring into the dating world and like being out and about with like people and stuff. And I was on just out of like boredom and kind of like loneliness, I just to see like what was out there, I went on Plenty of Fish, and I was looking through like the guys and stuff, and I don't know, like not a lot of people like really catch my attention or anything. A lot of it is just kind of like the same old thing. Like they always say like looking to date but nothing serious, or like not looking to date, nothing serious, like, you know, that whole like no attachment kind of like hookup thing. And I'm just like, it gets so old. Like, that is just so, I don't know, just dumb. And then there was this guy that I came across that his pictures like were, he looked like just a normal average person. And then I find his Instagram, like I talked to him for a little bit, and then I find his Instagram, and he's like this really sort of like entrepreneur, like really out there kind of like guy, and like already has like, I don't know, he's one of those people that like tries to like make Instagram look like he's one of those like influencer type people. And I don't know, for some reason, like there's like a picture of him on a yacht, and I'm just like, I don't know, just that is just so like unimpressive to me, and it kind of is intimidating, and it made me just kind of be like, I wish that none of that existed, and like I could just get to know the person for like who they are. Because I feel, I just kind of, it puts like a weird taste in my mouth. Like, it's kind of just like, I don't like that. Like, when people are like a little pretentious. And not that you shouldn't like strive to like, you know, for your dreams and stuff, but I just felt like it was a little bit too like self-absorbed. So I didn't like that at all. But it's really, I mean, it's hard. Like, I go through the phase where, like, you know, I'm definitely the kind of person where, like, when people are nice to me, I kind of, like, fall for them. And I've noticed that, like, even in my classes and stuff, like, there are people that who will be nice to me, but then, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have a crush on you, but then, like, I take it like, oh, well, maybe I should, you know, ask them for their number and then make it into something. But I just feel kind of like, I guess, embarrassed by that. Because it's not really that fun. I don't like how this little clip thing is going. Sorry, I'm like struggling with the same thing. I just feel like it's kind of, it's an unattractive quality of mine that I like am so easily like attracted. And like if someone's like, again, like if they're nice, and then that adds like a whole nother like component of it, and I'm like, oh well, I should, you know, this is someone that I could be with. And it's just kind of like, it's kind of like I just wish I could take a step back and like not be so, I think I'm also so forgiving towards people. Like, you know, people could like do anything to me, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. I'm like, don't worry about it. You know, it's not a big deal. Like, and but it is a big deal, and I don't really stand up. Like, I kind of let people be like, you know, kings, and then I'm kind of like, I don't know, the peasant girl that doesn't like really have a voice or like really stand up for herself. And I don't like that. Like, that doesn't feel good at all. But I feel like like, people always say they're all about, like, communication and stuff, and people say, like, oh, I want you to be this or that, but, like, when it comes down to it, if you actually vocalize how you feel, I feel like it triggers people, and they get upset, and it's kind of uncomfortable, because it's really rare to be, like, honest, to just have, like, brutal honesty. Like, I have a hard time, like, just being truthful. Like, um, it can be, it's a struggle, I feel like, to be like honest and say exactly what you feel and what you mean. And so that's hard in terms of like just human connection and like human relations and stuff like that. I feel like it's just really, it can be really hard, because you don't want to like hurt people's feelings and stuff. But you know, I'll be in a situation, and like I don't like it, but I don't know what to say or do. And I don't know. Like I said, I feel like people say they're all about like communication and stuff, but I don't really feel like people are, because then once you do communicate, it kind of makes the situation like uncomfortable. And that kind of isn't very fun. But yeah. the the struggles of existence and wanting human connection. And I find also, and I don't mean it, and like that's something too, like a lot of times I can't talk like freely and openly on my YouTube channel because I feel like people will take what I say the wrong way. But a lot of times the men that I find are really sort of like lost souls, and they're really broken down, and they've been through a lot. And of course people go through things in life. Like I wouldn't expect someone to be perfect ever, but I find that a lot of men that are attracted to me are like people who like they feel like an emptiness, and then for some reason they like, I guess because I'm so giving, that they kind of like attach onto that, and then um like I don't know, it they don't really bring a lot to the table for like themselves, and I kind of just feel like my energy just gets like sucked out of me, and like it just takes everything out of me, and I don't have enough like power to like um for myself even to like regenerate, and like um it's hard. Like I know, like especially when you're someone that struggles with depression, like I feel terrible, but like when someone's like I have depression, I'm like we all have depression. Like everyone, every guy that I've ever known is depressed, and it's just hard when that's just always the narrative, that's always the reality, and like I just get tired of that. Like I feel terrible, like that I feel awful that people are like struggling, and I know that struggle, but like it just gets old when that's every guy I know is like struggling and like having some really hard kind of like time in life, and I feel terrible about that. But it's kind of like I can't save I can't save them. I can barely save myself. So I mean, how can I save another individual if I struggle to like take care, love, and myself, and really be on top of like schoolwork and everything. Like it's hard. It's really hard. Cuz I just feel like a mean person if I ever like say something like that, or I feel really bad, but I do feel like, you know, I feel like the times that we live in, like my generation especially, is very much the depressed generation, the Prozac Nation generation. Um, and it's just kind of like they say that like men will be like I'm really depressed, or like I can't get out of bed, and I'm like yeah, me either, like I can't either, like, and I hate that kind of like narrative, and I try and like lift them up and myself, but it doesn't always work out that way, and it just makes it complicated. So then I'm like, should I not, you know, look for dating or anything until I'm completely okay? Like I just recently signed up for therapy. I had to go through a couple hoops to get this therapist that I wanted, and I'm really excited that I'll be able to have meetings with her and stuff, and actually get to talk about things. But at the same time, I'm like, do you still actively search for love even when you're not in your best state of mind and your best self, or do you prolong it and just wait and say like, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait and not do anything because things seem great in the beginning, but then it's kind of like, hey mom, things seem great in the beginning, and then kind of the reality of the situation sets in, and I don't know. I've had like friendships end over stuff like that. Like people kind of, I don't know. It's very confusing. Like that's just all I can think of when I think of like human interaction. It's very complicated and very very confusing. And there are a lot of people that are souls out there that I don't think that get like attention and love, and then I'm someone that I smile at people and I say hi, how are you, like how are you doing, like they matter, and then they kind of like latch on to me, and they get like sort of like, and it's, of course, I mean, it's only natural. Like, it's the same thing that I do, where like someone's nice to me and I fall in love with them. I do the same thing that these people do, but like they'll be like, oh well, I want to do this, this, and this, and when can you do this? And it's like, I am not, you know I can't like take care of everyone. And I know that it just sounds like so like just sounds really douchey, I feel like, to say something like that, but for some reason that's just like how I feel. Um I I there's a guy that I know that like kind of looks out for me, and like I've known him for like years and years, and I've tried, like, we've basically just been like the whole friends with benefits situation. And of course it's more meaningful than that, but that's just like what the if we're just gonna call a spade, like, we're not together, but we would still, be like romantic and stuff. And I would go see him, and he would come see me, and it's just really hard because in that type of situation, even if what you want, like, you know that you're never going to get exactly what you're looking for, because that's not how the situation is designed to be. And I find that like I just am so eager and willing to like settle for like anybody, and like just be like, okay, well, if they like me and they're okay with like, different things about me and in my life, and I'm like, they're perfect, they're the one, like future husband, like all this stuff. And I don't know, I feel like I have too it's not that I don't have standards, it's just that I'm too forgiving even when I'm uncomfortable. And it's really hard because it's not, if someone, it's, I don't like when, I'm not the kind of girl that is going to blame men um, for everything. I think that it's an issue with me and not them. And that if I can't speak up for myself, then that's my fault and not their fault. Um, and I just try and like, I'm like, okay, I gotta work on this. I gotta figure myself out, because I don't want to live through like these painful experiences anymore. But yeah, it's just, it's like I said, like human connection is like really crazy and hard, and it's like everyone's chasing everyone, and it's just like a loop. Like, it's so rare that two people are chasing the same person. And I mean, other times, like, I feel like on, sexual aspect, like, I don't really feel like men are that in tune with like female sexuality and what sex is like as a female. um I don't feel like men are really like versed in what the female body experience is. And I mean, it's kind of like, well, how could they know be if they're not a woman? But my thing at the same time is like, I just don't feel like, I've never experienced someone that is like a really giving and like makes me feel comfortable. Like, I've never felt, I guess maybe with one person I felt like completely comfortable, but like it's really hard to just even feel and get in a comfortable space, because I feel like it's always about the guy. It's always about him being able to, have his experience. And that's really hard. Like, it really weighs on you. And like, for a long time I felt really jealous towards men. Like, I felt jealous that they got to like have such like an easy time with their bodies. Like, they don't really have to fight to have an orgasm. And this is just kind of like generally speaking. This isn't for every man, but like, it's a lot easier for men to orgasm than females. And it sucks when it's kind of like nobody's ever like, oh, I want to, people say like, oh, I want to make you feel good or whatever, but then they don't actually do it. Like, they don't do that. They don't do that. They just end up treating you like, for themselves. And then the worst part is that I've allowed that to happen, because I just am like, you know, what do I do? You know, like, is this just how life is gonna be? And it's just not. It's not fun. It's not. It's really not fun to be in that situation. Because I feel like a lot of times people just say like what's nice. Like I've had people be like, "Oh yeah, I'm all about the girl. Like I'm all about, taking into accountability of everything." And then they treat you like you're nothing and you're like, "What?" Like it's it's hard. And yeah. But at the same time, like I don't completely blame like men. I think that like if they haven't ever experienced like what it's like to feel kind of like I don't know, if they haven't ever struggled with anything, like how can they understand in terms of like physically like their body and stuff. But I just wish that people were like took more into accountability of like, the female experience, because it's not very fun. I don't know. I'm like, is that too much of a topic to talk about on YouTube? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I feel kind of, I feel like nervous to talk about stuff like that. But I mean, it's real life. Like it's the human experience. So I'm like, I don't, I don't know why that would be such a bad thing to talk about. Because it's very, I think, like taboo in our society to really like sex is everywhere, but we don't talk about it. Um, and I also feel like women have like a different sex drive than men, and men don't understand that. Like, it's kind of like my female experience is that in order to really be like turned on and everything, like I have to get in the zone. I can't like just, I think for men, it like, their arousal system is different. So like they can just be ready to go like anytime and like it's nothing. But for girls, we kind of have to like make it happen. And so people don't really want to like make it happen. Like they're like only thinking in their mindset, and like I don't know, like they just don't know what they're doing. Like I'm just like, what is going on? And that's so like I don't know, it's just not fun. So blah. Sorry if this is like a super just like depressing topic, but I don't know. I think as a girl, like being able to speak up for yourself and I don't know, like really I don't have that backbone where I just always feel guilty for like speaking up and saying like, oh I this makes me uncomfortable or blah blah blah. Like I have such a hard time with that. But I don't know how to really combat that. I think maybe with age I'll grow. Because in some ways I feel like I'm so developed, and then in other ways I feel like I'm not developed at all. And like I don't want to make men sound like bad people. Like I don't think that men are bad or anything like that. I just don't think that they understand what it's the female experience is like. But yeah, I mean, I feel guilty for even like talking about this kind of stuff, like, because I know that there's people who watch my videos that I don't want to like trigger them or like make them feel like uncomfortable or anything. But I don't know. It's just kind of like me speaking my mind. But yeah, I'm like, let's think of a different topic. What can I talk about? I'm almost done with my makeup. Let me just do my mascara. But yeah, I listened to this podcast with Oprah. It's her Super Soul Conversations, and she's doing a podcast with Eckhart Tolle. And he's a really, really phenomenal man. And of course, Oprah is very phenomenal. And they have this concept of a pain body. And basically, your pain body is like, it's hard to explain, but it's basically like this, all of your trauma that has been with you and that has, you know, been around you and developed since you were a child and through whatever experiences, we have these pain bodies, and like, it's not really us, it's just the pain body experience that gets like triggered, and like, it's the ego and all of that mixed together. And, you know, I definitely feel like I have a strong pain body, and I don't want to. They talk about passing it on through like generations and generations. Like, parents pass pain bodies down to their children and add to it. And, you know, I have younger siblings, so, you know, it scares me because I see a lot of similarities, especially in my sister to me, and I never want to be like a bad example to her, or like her, have her develop like my same like triggers and stuff. Because when my sister gets mad, she looks, and the way that she acts is very much like me. She kind of like shuts down and gets like really hot-headed, and um if you try and like talk to her, she'll be like, you know, leave me alone, like like she just gives like, I remember that I did this thing with her, and I messed up her slime thing, kind of on purpose. I don't know, I just did something like rude, and then she got really, really upset, and she kind of, I'm like, Stella, I'm really sorry, and she's like, I don't care, I'm like, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, that's so like, ugh, that's like a reflection of like a mirror. Like, when I get mad, like if my mom tries to like comfort me, I'm like, no, no, it doesn't even matter. Like, don't do anything. It's ruined. Like, you know, and I feel like, oh, so I don't know. I just feel like I'm so hyper aware, and like all of that ties into everything, and it just is like really sort of like this hosh posh like melting pot of like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Everybody has different personalities, and like you're trying to figure yourself out and other people, and it's a lot. So I have no idea what this video topic should even be called. But yeah, it's really crazy. Really, really crazy. This is just like a body shimmer kind of thing. I just put this on so that if I have like a full face of makeup, it kind of ties into like the neck area also. Um, so it doesn't just look like your face is like really painted, and then it's kind of like helps kind of give the overall look. I feel like it's more like put together. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I apologize if it was like subject matter that isn't very like it's just kind of like just honest, open, vulnerability thoughts, kind of like. So, but yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this video was okay. Next time, I promise I will do better with subject matter, and I'll talk about something, you know, a little more fun and interesting than the woes of womanhood. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I love you guys. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye, guys.